achieved.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Scylol, and for today's video we have a special guest to take a look at the diverse world of Firefall. JBWill is a super moderator at the official Firefall forums, and he'll be sharing his knowledge with us about the world, its lore, and its current state. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and what battle frame you're looking forward to playing the most?
Hi guys, I'm a senior in university studying sound design. I'm been mostly a shooter player my whole life. I grew up on a Mac, so I started playing Marathon, the old Bungie shooter, and went through a bunch of different games, Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, Team Fortress 2, Halo, all the kind of general things. I also played a lot of StarCraft and Warcraft, some other RTSs. What battle frame am I looking forward to? That's kind of a hard question. I'd have to say right now the Dreadnought, just because I played most of the other frames. I went to PAX East and played the Recon, the Medic, and the Assault, and they're all awesome, obviously. And the Engineer looks really cool too, but it's not really anything groundbreaking that we've seen yet, although I expect that Red 5 has a lot of stuff up their sleeves they haven't told us about. But the Dreadnought just looks like a lot of fun. I mean, who doesn't like standing there and mowing down a bunch of enemies? So I think that I'm looking forward to trying that most.
Yeah, the Dreadnought definitely, it has the tank-like attributes and stuff, but it just has so much diversity to it to make it just looks like a really fun battle frame to play. Alright, so why don't you start by telling us a bit about the background story of the world, and what series of events led to where it is right now, and how much will this impact the way we perceive the world as players?
Alright, well, the first most notable event in the history of Firefall is the Firefall, from which the game takes its name, which basically in 2170 something, I don't remember exactly when it was, 21 something, a meteor comes and strikes the Earth. It's kind of a done again thing. But it doesn't just strike the Earth with one impact. It kind of breaks up as it's approaching the Earth and scatters itself around in orbit, and there's kind of just constant meteor hits for months on end, and so hence where the name the Firefall came from, because there was just fire raining from the sky constantly. So, place you wouldn't want to be. Basically this just completely fractured civilization as it existed at the time. It wiped out entire areas of the planet. I think Japan got pretty much wiped out. The eastern seaboard of the United States was wiped out, and a lot of Europe, and all of the world's governments just completely fell apart and started fighting amongst each other, and all that post-apocalyptic goodness that comes with things like that. That went on for for several years after that, until basically a guy named Shigeru Ichizoku, and the pronunciation of which I probably completely butchered, but
Sounds good enough.
Yeah, close enough. He was the head of a company called Enermax, basically discovered in the ruins of Tokyo, which got completely, took a direct hit from an asteroid, which is gone. Discovered in the debris from the asteroid this mineral that it kind of defied the laws of physics as we knew them at the time, and had some strange properties, and he started to study this mineral, and eventually named it crystite, and it's kind of a blue crystalline something that he discovered would be a perfect clean power source, so that gave it an enormous amount of power with little to no waste. And from that discovery, once they discovered that and started distributing that technology, the world kind of got back on its feet, and they started creating new technology and started coming back together as a civilization. Basically, there was a company called the Omnidyne Corporation that was headed by a guy named Hadrian Ashworth that kind of took the technology and used it to unify the world in a common cause, which was basically to find more crystite so that they could keep on going. So basically, just this one asteroid came, was the source of all the crystite on Earth, and so at some point that was going to run out, and so they needed to find more. And basically, they tracked the path of the asteroid back, and they saw it came from a planet that was around the star Alpha Centauri, which they named Alpha Prime. And they discovered that in orbit around Alpha Centauri was just this debris cloud that was just full of crystite, just all over the place. And they were like, well, that's cool, we want some of that. So they built several starships, massive things, like mile-long starships, to basically travel to Alpha Prime and set up a mining colony that would then mine the crystite, and then these ships would ferry it back and forth. And they set up like a rotation of these ships that the trip took 7 years, I think it was. And so they set the ships on a rotation, so every couple of years another ship was arriving. But basically that was just not fast enough for people, obviously, because, you know, the human race is stupid a lot of the time. And so they came up with this technology called arc folding, which is basically a way to instantaneously travel a long distance by kind of bending space-time back on itself and just kind of popping from one place to another. And someone named Mitra Bathsheba, which probably butchered that again, but close enough, who, from what we've heard, will be a big part of the story in the actual game, kind of refine this technology, arc folding technology, and to the point where they could actually use it for people and ships and stuff, and like it was actually a viable method of transportation. And then so they Omnidyne Corporation and also the Centauri Corps, which was like kind of a subsidiary of the Omnidyne Corporation, commissioned the building of this massive battleship. They said it was bigger than all the other spaceships they had made combined, so multiple miles long, just huge ship called the Arclight, which was outfitted with arc folding technology to be able to travel to Alpha Prime and load up a bunch of crystite and come back in like a matter of days as opposed to 7 years. And this thing took several years to build, and they used workers from all over the planet, and it was docked above Brazil. And basically when this thing went to take its maiden journey off to Alpha Prime, something went horribly wrong, and the info we have gets kind of fragmented at this point. We've kind of pieced it together through several interviews and some other thing, and just things that we've heard from the devs, but basically something went wrong, and Admiral Nostromo, who was the captain of the Arclight, who we've also heard will be another kind of big part of the Firefall storyline, was forced into a Sophie's Choice, which is kind of forced to choose between two things that would just be bad either way. And so whichever one he chose, we don't know what that choice was, but whatever happened, he somehow managed to rip a hole in space-time into another universe, from which this purpley blue electric cloud of energy which they called the melding, poured into the atmosphere of the Earth and just basically started covering everything. And